I'm just trying to be the guy that I can be and kind of work hard and do the things that I know work or do things I know used to work, and then also see what I have to do to pivot. So right now out there, the biggest thing I just want to encourage you today is to go out there and be who you're meant to be. It's time to rise up. It's time to overcome whatever adversity is going on in the market right now.
So the question is this: how do most agents find the secrets to succeed in today's competitive real estate market, especially when the top agents are keeping those secrets to themselves? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hi, I'm Aaron Amuchastegui, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Hey, Real Estate Rockstars. This is Aaron Amuchastegui, and I'm interrupting myself to bring you this commercial break from one of our sponsors. There's somebody I've been looking at for a long time, and when they reached out to me, I said, yes, we have to be able to do this deal. So that sponsor is Follow Up Boss. There's a lot of superstars out there that use Follow Up Boss. What's your favorite CRM?
We're using Follow Up Boss.
We use Follow Up Boss.
So we use Follow Up Boss.
I love Follow Up Boss. I love it. We have action plans now for bringing on new agents. We have action plans for our recruiting.
We call them action plans in Follow Up Boss, which will trigger tasks for the agents to do as far as calling. Follow Up Boss I like more for the integrations with everything, MailChimp, Call Action, all those different products.
I will say we used Sync and we switched from Sync to Follow Up Boss.
Honestly, the greatest CRM I've ever used. I've used Brivity, Sync. I've looked at Boomtown, like Real Geeks, just a bunch of different ones. But me personally, I fell in love with FUB about 7 months ago when I first started using it. I've used Boomtown. I've used LineDesk. I've used Conversion. And I think Follow Up Boss gives you the most integrations that are simple, and it gives you the best ability to go and integrate large things into one single solitary platform. Yet at the same time, it's still affordable.
I do like Follow Up Boss better just because you can text from the app and things like that. It's just a little more convenient for me.
It tracks everything that I need. I can customize it if I want. If I want to go smart list based, that's fine. If I want to go task based, it's fine.
I think it's one of the best systems, and it's very user friendly.
It just really helps me never drop a ball because it's so user friendly. I don't have a one horse in the race with Follow Up Boss. Purely objective, Follow Up Boss has been the best one that we've found.
Now, I've used Follow Up Boss. We've actually used it in our non-real estate businesses as well because it's so good at being able to set timers, set automatic texting and emailing. So here's what we got. For Real Estate Rockstars listeners, you get a 30-day free trial. That's normally 14 days. So in order to get this, you go followupboss.com, just like it sounds, /Rockstars. Go there, get your 30-day free trial and check it out. Especially if you aren't using any systems or any CRMs yet, this will be a great one for you to start with. Thanks again. Now back to our show.
Hey guys, this is Aaron Amuchastegui. I am driving my car right now and thought I would try something new and try to do just a quick podcast. Just hit record on some stuff that I'm thinking about that I think that is probably impacting a lot of you guys out there and something we should be thinking about. And if you guys like this, let me know. Send me a message afterwards so I can figure out if I should do this more often for you guys. But right now in my world, in my real estate investment world, a lot of stuff has changed in the last 6 or 9 months. And I'm in the middle of kind of this giant pivot. And I had a rough year in 2022. I had a rough year personally because I had a daughter that was really sick and took some really special care. And she had to live in Arkansas for 6 months. And my family was living apart from each other for 6 months as my wife and I took turns up there with our other 3 kids. At the same time that was going on, I was forced to kind of take my eye off the ball with some of my businesses where as interest rates went way up, our investments went way, way down. And I found myself making the same mistake that I made back in 2012 and 2013. And during that time, I didn't cut stuff kind of fast enough, and I wasn't really paying attention to my overhead and the extra additional costs that I had. And in October, November, December, kind of reviewing the year, I'm looking at some things and I'm realizing oh man, I've got to make some big changes. I've got to make some big cuts. I've taken some really heavy losses with the expense of the treatment, some other stuff, and then heavy losses on having overhead without having income. It snuck up on me because it wasn't that I was doing bad deals. It wasn't I was losing money on houses. What was happening is I was spending money on overhead and it wasn't being profitable. I had some expenses out there that just weren't being profitable. I wasn't getting ROI on them anymore. And I think right now in everybody's business, there's a couple things I want to talk about today, but one of them is that. One of them is making sure that the expenses that you have, you're getting an ROI on. When times are tighter, it's really easy when times are big and there's lots of revenue coming in to go, no, we got to keep doing this, we got to keep doing this, we got to keep doing this. And something else that I get caught up in, for example, like going to auction. When this happened back in 2012, we were going to auction every day, and it was normal to wait a couple weeks to get a house sometimes. It was normal to have these dry spells. So I kept thinking like, no, this expense is okay because it's eventually going to pay for itself. It's eventually going to pay for itself. But you also have to know that sometimes the market changes. Sometimes things absolutely change. So you could have some expenses in your business right now that you've been doing for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Let's say you've been doing them for the last 3 years. And right now you're looking at that expense because that expense isn't having the ROI that it used to. Zillow leads could be an example of that. Or leads from another source, or maybe some CRMs, or maybe some outbound marketing that you've been doing. And in one sense, you might want to keep doing that because you're like, hey, I know this worked in the past, and it's okay to have dry spells. But sometimes you got to be honest with yourself and kind of look at the actual expense, look at the ROI, and say, is this just a dry spell? Is this still a good investment? Or has the market changed? Has the environment that we're in totally changed? So I would encourage you on the first thing, kind of look at that and try to figure out if you have any expenses right now that maybe you should look a little bit closer at to see if you're not getting that ROI anymore.
Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Amuchastegui with a quick commercial break from our newest sponsor. Now listen to this. Are you looking to take your real estate business to the next level? Introducing the copy and paste formula to implement and monetize your VIP club. This is the only course that provides a step-by-step roadmap to turn your clients into lifetime referral partners while creating an additional revenue stream and attracting and retaining agents all in one. This comprehensive program teaches you the tools and techniques you need to add value propositions, monetize your VIP club, manage and operate your VIP club with ease, and brand yourself as the mayor of your market. With detailed checklists, processes, and systems for every department of your operations, you'll have everything you need to successfully implement and monetize your VIP club. You'll learn how to easily monetize your VIP club, attract and retain agents, host highly converting client events, add unique value propositions to your business, monetize your lifetime home support model, create additional revenue streams. The lifetime value of a client is priceless, and this course will show you how to retain your clients for life and turn them into referral machines. You'll learn how to add transaction fees and lay the groundwork for an additional six-figure revenue stream, all while growing your market share. With all-inclusive marketing templates, scripts, and checklists, you'll be able to implement and monetize your VIP club with ease. Don't miss this opportunity to take your real estate business to the next level. Sign up for the copy and paste formula to implement and monetize your VIP club today. Go to www.startyourvipclub.com. Until March 15th, you've got this special code. Real Estate Rockstars listeners, you'll save $200 with the promo code RERSVIP. Again, go to startyourvipclub.com before March 15th. Use the code RERSVIP to save $200. And if you want to learn more about this program, go back and listen to episode 1119, where Amy Stockberger tells me all about it. Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Second, as I'm thinking about this pivot out there, when I had this so I've had a rough 9 months, right? I've had a rough year. And sometimes I can get caught up in that. And I did some major layoffs in one of my companies. A couple of my companies are doing great. A couple of my companies just aren't. And as I did those layoffs, I also walked away from some acquisitions where I had some really expensive earnest money on them, on these developments. And when I fail at something, it's really easy to get down. It's really easy to get disappointed. It's really easy to get depressed. I go through and I talk about, man, I wish I wouldn't have made that mistake. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have wired that earnest money. I knew better. Oh, I wish I would have laid people off faster. I knew better. And I can look at these specific things and go, man, that mistake cost me $100,000. Man, that mistake cost me $200,000. Some really, really big mistakes. And so what that also happens with that is it gets me to where I kind of freeze. I stop remembering how to take action. I stop remembering how to make money. I stop remembering how to run business stuff, because now that I've failed again, I've had failure happen, it's tough to go do something and pick myself up and go do something right again. I get a little gun shy, right? And you don't want to get gun shy. So if you've had some rough times, right? If you went from having major revenue to not as much revenue, and you've had some rough times, and you're sitting here wanting to go, I wish I would have done something different. I wish I would have spent that money different. I wish I would have put more in savings when I was making money. I wish I would have bought more houses. So we all have to do that for a little bit so we learn from that mistake, but don't stew in it, right? You can't stew in it. Like, now is the time that if you've been going through something, now is the time that you have to say, like, okay, I have felt the pain. I have learned my lesson. I have, I understand I made some mistakes. I want to sit back and still be sad about it, but I can't be gun shy anymore. It's time to pivot. It's time to change the business. It's time to figure out what's going to work, even if you have to do it yourself. Some people are having to cut back on expenses and go back to like doing outbound dialing themselves or outbound door knocking themselves, or just doing something that you haven't done for a long time. Something that maybe we were above, something that maybe we had like promoted ourselves and graduated ourselves out of, and that we weren't having to do anymore. I found myself in the last couple of weeks, like redoing some things that I did back in 2009, 2010. One, because I wanted to get some wins in my belt again. And I wanted to regain some confidence to remind myself how I got successful to begin with. Because when we get successful and then we have some setbacks, it gets tough. And I went and I started driving foreclosure auctions again. And I hadn't done those in years. I went and door knocked on houses for people that were in foreclosure and asked them if they wanted to sell me their house, and kind of redoing the pitch and redoing the business plan and just seeing what would it be like if instead of having tons of employees, I had employees that were driving houses, I had employees that were door knocking, I had employees that were outbound calling. What if I just did it all? What if I just spent some time doing everything I did like I did back in 2009 and 2010 when I started it? But to do that, I had to have a new change in mindset. One was this accountability thing. I had to quit feeling sorry for myself. I had to quit being sad, and I had to accept the fact that the market has changed, the conditions have changed, so now it's time to pivot. And I also had to look at that and say, now it's also time to like step up. And like, when the going get tough, the tough get going. When I started my business, like everybody that became an entrepreneur, right? When I started my business, I was broke. I was getting laid off because the home builder that I worked for, the housing market had crashed, and they cut everybody's pay by half. And like the world had kind of just been ruined for the market that we were in. So I've had tough times before and had to rise up. And then I lost my whole business in 2013 when I didn't see that competitors were coming in, when I had that really expensive overhead. So when the going get tough, the tough get going. Said, hey, it's time to like grow up. It's time to rise up. It's time to be the guy that I can be, and kind of work hard and do the things that I know work, or do things I know used to work, and then also see what I have to do to pivot. So right now out there, the biggest thing I just want to encourage you today is to go out there and be who you're meant to be. It's time to rise up. It's time to overcome whatever adversity is going on in the market right now. Analysis paralysis. You don't want to sit back and do nothing. You don't want to be gun shy. You don't want to be sitting wishing something's going to be wrong. I had like 3 flips that had been on the market for like 6 months. I'm sitting back going, man, I really wish these things would sell. Or one of them, the construction, we haven't made much progress. I really just wish we could get that done. I had to jump on a plane. I had to go to projects. I had to start meeting with contractors. I really had to take responsibility myself. And instead of feeling like, oh man, I hired this person to do that and they should have done a better job. Or I was planning to do this and it just didn't work out. Instead of trying to blame other people, it's realizing, no, I have to take personal responsibility, personal accountability. If anything goes wrong, it's my fault. If something went wrong, it was my fault for hiring, for decision making, for putting someone in the position that something like that could have happened. Who can fix this? I'm the only one responsible to fix this. I need to rise up to go fix it. So again, if you're feeling anything out there right now, it's time for you to go rise up and fix your business. For you to be the one that can rise up and overcome more than anybody else. I think that 2023 can be a great year. You might have a few problems you need to settle first, but go settle those problems. Take care of the stuff that isn't going right and go solve it and rise up, because you are meant for this. You are meant for better. You are meant for a big 2023. And as long as you're learning from the lessons, every time I've had a pivot, and every time I've had a crash, and every time I have lost it all, I have risen back faster and bigger and greater. And 2023 can be that year for you too. Real estate rock stars, I hope you like today's truck talk, today's Tesla talk as I'm out driving. Let me know if something like this is helpful. I'm going to try to just share some more of these thoughts as I'm going through them, because a lot of times I am re-coaching myself. I'm coaching myself. I'm talking about the things that I want to do, and I just get to hit record, and you guys get to listen along as I get to interview these great people, as I get to hear the best strategies that are out there. And sometimes I need to hear myself retell myself my strategy, and I hope that you got some value out of this. As always, if you got value from this, please send a friend. Please subscribe to our podcast so that way you can hear it more often. And send on my podcast just one person. If I helped your life, and there's a chance that there's somebody else listening, there's a friend of yours that I could help their life too, and I would love to change a bunch of lives. So Real Estate Rockstars, as always, thanks for listening.
All right, Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Amuchastegui jumping in again to thank you for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys loved listening to that one, and I want to make sure that you know about all of the extra resources that we have, and also we need your help. They say podcasts are free. You get to listen to podcasts for free. But what is the cost of that podcast? I would say if I could beg you to pay anything for that podcast, I would say the cost of the podcast is going and giving a review. So whether you download it on Google or Apple or YouTube or anywhere else, please go give us a review. Say what you liked, what you didn't like. It helps us get better guests. The more reviews, the higher we get in the rankings. Right now, we are the biggest podcast out there for real estate agents, and we want to keep that spot because we know there's lots of podcasts out there. So go give us a review. Also, be sure to go to hibandigital.com. If you liked any of the resources that those real estate agents talked about, we've got a huge video vault of those resources for free. Every penny that comes on the podcast that we interview, they give us something that helps them get their deals or helps them work with their clients. And we put that in the toolbox in our vault for you. So go to hibandigital.com and you can get it. If you're looking for real estate education, go to rebusuniversity.com. We have all sorts of courses in there to help agents succeed in real estate, how to get the listing, how to negotiate deals, how to become an investor, all sorts of different stuff, rebusuniversity.com. And if you want to chat with me, go find me on Instagram. And if you come find me on Instagram, you can send me messages. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. We try to put a bunch of content out there too. You can find me in two different places. It's at rerockstars.com for our Real Estate Rockstars page, or at aaronamuchastegui.com for my personal Instagram page, where I can chat with you about all sorts of different things. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.